I'm ready as spaghetti. Hey guys, we got another Monday live, and we got a lot of things to talk about. I found out that How to Make a Mafia Boss is coming out on Netflix. It's a big deal. I did it a long time ago. I actually forgot that we even did it. So did Michael Franchise. We called each other. Hey, what is that program coming out on Netflix? So, on what? Tomorrow. So anyway, he called me up and he told me, Sammy, we're getting old. We both forgot. I said, no, you're getting old. I'm already old. I'm 6 years older than Michael. And we had the conversation. One of the bosses there was Toto Arena. He was a real vicious guy. He was involved in an enormous mafia war in Sicily. Killed hundreds of people, were killed. We lived in the mountains. He had a lot of kids. I don't want to get into that, but I know if I lived in the mountains, bro, I'd have a lot of kids too. So, that's the way it goes. But there was a lot of people. Pablo Escobar, they talk about John Gotti. I talk a little bit about John Gotti. I'm not a superstar on the thing. You can see the way I'm dressed. I was like a broken down valise without a handle. So we get that coming out tomorrow. And I'm going to be watching it because I don't remember it at all, just about. I remember so many things. I don't know why I didn't remember that. I did an interview with it. It went over so good. I guess their program, they sold it to Netflix. They never told us about it. So when people will call me up, oh, I see your show on Netflix. What show? On Netflix. So it went along. It'll be out tomorrow. We'll see what it is. But I'll be just like you guys. I'll be watching it, wondering what it's all about. So, and then what else? Marianne Trump Berry is Donald Trump's sister. She was a federal judge. She was 86 years old. She just passed away. She was the one who sentenced Bobby Manor and a ton of years. Now, I talked about Bobby Manor on the thing with the warden. He's 94 years old. He's in prison 36 years. He has all kinds of diseases. What's some of the diseases he has?
Oh, he's got Parkinson's, ulcers, colitis. He can't use the restroom by himself. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, so a whole bunch of things. There's no sense. Have compassion. Give him a compassionate release. You're not changing your sentence. You're not doing anything. You're just letting him go home and die with his family. Vic Arena is another one. There's a guy, I don't remember his name. He was a black guy. I did a lot of time with him. He was part of the Weather Underground group. He was old and beat up. He's in a ton of years, probably close to 40 years. All the white guys and women who were involved in the Weatherman group, they eventually all got out. And who became a professor in this college, a professor in that college. Why won't let this guy out? He's 80 years old, black guy. Is that it? You don't want to let him out? I wish I remembered his last name. I used to call him Pop all the time.
Yeah. You talk about him on the bullpen.
Huh?
You talked about him on the bullpen with Michael
I talked about him on the bullpen. I can't remember his name. I tried to smuggle his name out when I was getting out of prison. They found it and they took it away from me. Because I wanted to send him a few bucks. He's broke. I wanted to send him a few bucks every once in a while. I played cards with him. I liked the guy a lot. So there's him, but it's hard for me to fight for him because I don't remember his last name. And I have no way of getting it. He was in a witness unit with me. Mm-hmm. But we played chess. He was a fox, a really good chess player. So, and he was really getting old. So I used to cheat every once in a while because he would easily beat me. So when he wasn't looking, I would move a piece, and he never picked up on it. So So if he's listening or he has a way of hearing this, I did cheat you once in a while.
You weren't going crazy.
So, so all of that. I have questions that you wanted to ask that we never got to. So I think it's Amina's going to take it, ask me some questions, and then I'm going to tell you about maybe what I should do. Let me start off with this about my friend in Sicily. He's got a friend, his son, named Juwan. And Juwan was 16 years old and he graduated high school. And his father, when the kid came home, said, Juwan, me and your mother are so proud of you. You did so good. You're graduating ahead of time, 16 years old. He said, go to the closet. We bought you a beautiful gift. So the kid ran. He opened up the closet door. And you saw this in the movies, the small little sawed-off shotgun with the belt over your shoulder like they do in Sicily. So he says, the shotgun with the belt, with the PCAP, go in the woods and use it. Put it near your side and pull the trigger, shoot some birds, shoot the trees. I want you to get used to it because in Sicily, it's a sign of a manhood. And you're going to carry that everywhere, whether you go to church, no matter where you go, you'll always have that shotgun with the belt. It's a manly thing. So Juwan ran out in the woods and he was shooting the shotgun and doing everything. And he was a little bit of a schemer. He saw his friend Mario and he says, Mario, take a look. Look what my mother and my father bought me. A beautiful shotgun with the belt and the cap and the whole thing. And he said, Mario, what did your mother and father get you? The sun was shining and he went like this. He says, this beautiful 14-karat gold watch with all diamonds in the face. The sun was shining. The thing was glowing. Juwan was thrown back. Really expensive watch. So he says, Mario, I'll make you a deal. I'll give you the shotgun, the belt, the PCAP for that watch. Mario thought about it for a few seconds and said, all right. And they switched. Mario thought he made the biggest score in the world. He ran home, Papa, Papa. My friend jumped off the chair and, Juwan, are you okay? What's the matter? He said, no, I'm going to see a Mario in the woods and I'm going to trade him the shotgun, the belt, and the cap for this beautiful 14-karat gold watch with all the diamonds. He was standing in the doorway, the sun was shining, the watch was gorgeous. The dad said, that's a beautiful watch, Juwan. But now you're going to go off and you're going to go to college. And you're a very smart kid. We know you're going to do good in college. They're going to meet so many beautiful women. And one of them you're going to pick and she's going to become your wife. You're going to go in the mountains, in the forest, and you're going to build a beautiful home. And someday you'll have children and a dog, a beautiful wife, and you'll get a great job because of your education. He said, but let me tell you this. One day when you go to work, you're not going to feel good. And you're going to come home early. You're going to open the front door. And upstairs in the bedroom, you're going to hear your wife screaming. Of course, you're going to go up to save her, and you're going to run up the stairs. You're going to kick the door open. And you're going to see your wife laying there with her legs far apart, with some guy in between her legs banging away. What are you going to tell him, Juwan? Time is up? So that's an old story. All right, let's get to the questions.
All right, Sammy, here we go. Okay, first of all, let's just give some quick shout outs to Brian Byer and Casey Wojnowski. Say shout out to them. Casey
Brian and Casey.
And you got everybody in the chat today. We got John Carl, Francisco, Xavier, Elgato, J. Marie, Fat Irish 90. Everybody's in here.
Oh, great, great.
Okay, so let's start off. Ryan Brown says, Sammy, 2 quick questions. Did you know Vinny Asaro's nephew, Ronnie Gialzano? If so, what was he like? Also, was it a requirement to commit a murder to get made? And if so, when did it stop?
I didn't know this guy Ronnie. I didn't. No, it's not a requirement that you have to kill to become a made member. There are guys who didn't kill and became made members. It was almost, you know, growing up, you're into life, you're getting orders. Most of the guys did kill, but some rare guys were in because they were more of a racketeer than a gangster or a thug. So, and they were recognized. Maybe they had a father in their life who proposed them to become a made guy. They never did work. So it's not a requirement. We like that because if you're an undercover agent or something like that, you can't do a piece of work. They did a movie about it one time with Johnny Depp, and he was an undercover agent, and then they were going to make him, and they wanted him to do a piece of work, and he had to leave. So it's not a requirement, but most guys did it at one time or another. And you know, entering the life, when you take the oath, the boss asks you, will you kill for our family, when asked? And you have to answer. And your answer is going to be yes. If your answer is no, you'll never become a made guy. But that doesn't mean you did it already or you'll ever do it. Depends on if you're asked. They pick people who they think are qualified to do a hit. If they think that a guy is an earner and he's not really qualified, he's a little squeamish about that stuff, and they won't put him up there. You know, the same thing in the military and the army. They know the guys who are, you know, rough and tumble guys. They put them on the front line. They know they're going to kill. A guy who's a little squeamish about it while in basic training, they'll make him a medic. They'll put him in the back. You know, they won't want to put him up there. So it's the same principle, so to speak. So, and was there any other part that I missed on that question?
Nope.
All right.
So we have Bacchus Beast. Do you think the business today is still as legacy-based and generational as the old days?
No, definitely no. First of all, years ago, when you came here, you had to be Italian on both your father and your mother's side. But guys were here for a long time, and they married different women who were Jewish or Irish or black or anything, Hispanic. And so they weren't on their both sides. Then they changed the rule and said you had to be Italian on your father's side. They used the excuse that, well, you are what your father is, you carry his name. So if your father was Italian, you could get made. They didn't have an interest in the mother. But I always disagreed with that. You can't tell me that a man isn't, you know, into the mother. She's there when you're born. She's there when you're sick. She's there when you're going to school, when you have a problem. There's things you take from your mother, too. She's not just on the side. It's not important. And it rubs off on you what she is, whatever nationality she is or race. It has an impact on you. So the Mafia changed a little bit. It's not saying that those people weren't tough. They were. But they had a different vibe about them, a different understanding. And the Mafia, like everything else, had changed from time to time and went on in a different way. So that's my little description of, you know, becoming a made member. But while I was there, you had to be at least on your father's side Italian. I mean, I remember there was a guy, Joe Jinks, I think they called him. He was a captain. And I was with Tato, and there was a meeting, and he came down. And I had asked Tato when we weren't talking, who's that? He says, it's Joe Jinks. He's a Gabrigine, a captain. And I said, bro, he looks like he's Chinese or Japanese or something. Like he had slanty eyes and stuff. So he says, yeah, probably his father married a Chinese or a Japanese woman. And he, of course, he took some of those traits, but he's Italian on his father's end. and he became a gabardine. So it just goes to show that, you know, it doesn't matter what your mother was, more what your father was. And when the meeting was over, when he said, I said, see, I thought it don't rub off with his father.
Sammy. Oh
All right.
Next question.
Next question.
Okay, we have Robert Rosano Jr. If John brought down the mob and wasn't respected, as you claim, why did the commission approve his brother to take over the family?
Well, the commission never approved Pete Gotti to become the boss of the family. At that time, the commission wasn't meeting, and he wasn't approved. He was never approved by the commission. You know, I don't think he ever got approved. But, you know, you got to remember, a boss becomes a boss. The captains in the family vote him in. Now, you got a good point, because usually, even if you vote somebody in, then you go to the commission and say, we voted in Joe Blow. Now, the commission could say, that's good, he could represent you, but we, as a commission, they won't give him a commission seat. And they didn't give Peter Gotti a commission seat.
Okay, we have Big Tuna. Hi, Sammy. Did you need permission to whack a non-made guy? Also, did they ever whack any guy that you were close with that made you rethink the life?
You have to get permission from the boss on any murder, whether he's a made guy or not. The order, you have to get permission to do a hit. Unless it's a quick, something happened, a brawl or something, you still got to report. But to plan a hit, you always have to get permission. What was the other part of that question?
Did they ever whack any guy that you were close with that made you rethink the life?
There's guys that got whacked who were close with me, and it didn't make me rethink the life. There's rules. When you break the rules, in my era, you got killed. No questions asked. I don't care if it was your best friend, if it was your brother, it was your uncle. I don't care who it was. There's people in Sicily killed their son for breaking rules. And it's a rule. You break certain rules, not every rule. You could be a little liberal in certain areas, but certain rules, you break those rules and you die.
Okay. JB Weld wants to know, what was your thoughts on Bruce Cutler? Was he only Gotti's lawyer, or did the whole Gambino family use him?
He was only Gotti's lawyer. The Gambino family didn't use him. He wasn't really even a good lawyer. He used to mouth off and do crazy things in court. He made a little name for himself like that. Some of the cases that he won with John were rigged, either by myself or in conjunction with other people. So it looked like he made a fantastic win. But we were bribing people, threatening people in the background. So when he won the case, he looked like a superstar. But years later, when all that came out, now I remember the underboss of, I believe it was Chicago, reached John Gotti and asked for Bruce Cutler to represent him. John Gotti sent the message back, you have my permission to use him, but he's really not a good lawyer. They used him anyway. The underboss was the only guy in that case who was found guilty. So he wasn't really a good, and it didn't work in Chicago like it worked in New York, and they didn't rig the cases there, so that's my, he's not a bad guy, but he was like a wannabe John Gotti. He wanted to dress like John and act like John, and he lost control. He's a lawyer, you schmuck. You're not John Gotti. So, but it went to his head.
Okay, we got a couple more. We got David McLean. Why didn't Paul move more quickly to have Angelo Ruggiero killed when he didn't turn over the tapes as Paul demanded?
Yeah. Well, he should have moved, obviously. He should have moved faster than he did. But it's a complicated thing. When you're going to kill, it wasn't just Angelo. It was the whole crew he was going to kill. Now, to kill John Gotti, Angelo, Gene Gotti, Johnny Kineg, all these guys, it's a big crew, it's a tough crew. It needs, a lot of planning and a lot of deception. And obviously he could have moved a little bit faster, but he did have cases going. So between cases going and that it's a complicated thing, you need a lot of guys to pull that off. You're going to hit 4, 5, 6 guys, 7 guys. It's not an easy hit. It took too long. And then he knew that they were close with Neil. So Neil was the underboss, and Paul had a lot of respect for him. So I guess that all slowed him down. All those factors slowed him down, and it was to his detriment. Is that the word? Detriment?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay. We have Red Man, who wrote in. He said, Sammy, in the past, you said that John sent you on hits even when you were underboss. Traditionally, the administration is not involved in those crimes. How John's excuse was that those hits wouldn't get done unless you were there. You also mentioned that other people noticed this as well. Looking back, could this have been John setting up multiple ways to get rid of you, involving you in so many hits that eventually someone flips and sends you to jail? Or another way, involving you in so many hits that eventually he can build a case with the family to kill you?
I don't think he thought like that when these things took place. John is the boss. I was very effective at a hit. And some guys who came up, Jimmy Brown was one. He was a captain. He had a problem with his cousin who was a May guy. He was going to cooperate. Louis Fats was in his crew. Philly Dogs. Few guys. And they're not as aggressive in that area. And I think, I didn't like it, but in a way, he was right. I'll talk about that hit, his cousin, Jimmy Brown's cousin. We were planning it, we were going to do it, and he came, Louis Fats, Jimmy Brown wasn't even there, but Louis Fats said, Sammy, we sent for him, he won't come in. So he stayed in a club, and I forgot, it's not in Brooklyn or Bronx, I forgot what fucking area it is, and he stayed with a lot of zips, grease balls, all tough guys supposedly. So I said, then here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get a gun. Me and you will go to the club. We'll walk in, you walk ahead of me. You'll see him sitting at a table playing cards or whatever. Walk over, of course he's gonna get up, he's gonna see you, he's gonna see me. And when you put your hand out to shake his hand, hold it hard. And I'm gonna come right up over your shoulder and I'm gonna shoot him in the head. And he said, Sammy, in front of everybody? I said, yeah. They're all tough guys, I thought. Yeah, they are, but, So anyway, he kind of dogged it a little bit. We were making arrangements for him to come down. I had Joe Watts, Frankie Botts waiting in a diner in Staten Island, so we would bring the body there. So I wanted to go back and tell them, hold up, hold your position. I did all of that. I went home. I got a gun. And I came back with Danny Marino in the car. When we pulled up, Louis Fats was on the street. Philly Dogs was on the street. I got out of the car and he came over. He says, Sammy, he says, it was his son's glass factory. And they had trucks. We were going to kill him in there. He says, I killed him. He's in the factory. Oh, he's in the factory. So I did come down. Yeah. I said, all right, let's go in the factory and put him in the truck and go to Staten Island. I gave him the name of the place. They would go in the back, Joe Watts and Frankie Botts, and then we're waiting for the body and bring him there. Now, Big Louie didn't like the idea that I was being used like this. I didn't like it, but that next day I went back, I told Louie the story, and I said, listen, he was right, John. if I didn't say I was going to go to that club and shoot him in front of all of those guys, the hit wouldn't have happened. He would have went to the government, cooperated. So he was right. I got it done. They're not tough guys. There's a lot of tough guys in life. There's guys who look like and sound like tough guys, are not all that tough. I did another hit with somebody one time. Guy was big guy, big diamond pinky ring, beautiful suits, big fucking fat cigar, and always he was a little abusive towards people. And we went on the hit, he was on the hit, and then we were cleaning up. And I looked up at him, and his face was white as a ghost. So I said, "What's the matter, bro?" He said, nothing, Sammy, nothing. And I said, "Listen, then go in the bathroom and put some cold water on your face. And go outside and just keep watch. We'll finish it up." So all that tough guy shit, all that bully shit on a hit, it was a little empty. It wasn't such a tough guy anymore. And it's an ugly thing as a hit. It is. But not everything is what you think it is. Guy walking around like that. And one time I had to pull him up a little bit. He was in a meeting with me and he was a little abusive. I says, "Hey, bro, don't talk down to him." You know, he was a captain eventually. And I said, "Don't talk down to him. This guy's a tough guy you're talking to. You got rank over him, but don't be a fucking tough. Don't talk down to him." I pulled him on the side when I told him that. So when we go down there, let him talk and don't gorilla the guy. So the life has a lot of different facets to it, and I don't think John Gotti was trying to set me up at that point. That happened a little later on. He became a little jealous and envious of me. See, the thing backfired when he was sending me on the street as a conseiller or the underboss. Guys on the street, you know, a lot of times it's nice when the boss, Paul Castellano or somebody, gives you an order to go kill somebody, but you're on the street with a gun. It's dangerous. It's ugly. It's easy to do when you're sitting in your fucking house and you give an order. So guys on the street, when I went with them, they said, "This fucking guy's the real dude. He's a fucking underboss. He's got a gun in his fucking hand, and he's right with us." It reversed on John. It built my name and my reputation even more from the underling guys who were doing the dirty work. So when they saw me, it was like, "Hey, Sammy, bro, how's everything?" They related to me more. I became one of them. Even though I had position, I was on the street with them. So I wasn't just sitting on my ass giving orders. I was in the street with them. So I didn't plan that, but when he did that, that's what one of the effects were. But I don't think John was definitely worried about getting ratted on and that the guy would rat on me, because if a guy ratted, he would rat on both of us anyway, whether John was there or not. So that's not the case. I had my problems with John later, but at that point, no, we were tight. I think he was right. I didn't like it. An administrative guy, boss, underboss goes there. You have grown beyond that. You're usually a little older. So the young guys who are eager to come up, you give it to them. They're making their bones, so to speak. But I don't think he was trying to hurt me with that at all, no.
Okay, I think that's it for me. Although John wants to know whether or not you were a ladies' man in the mob life.
Why do you think they call me the bull?
Oh, hey,
Anna, over to you.
Thank you, Amina. Hey, Sammy, I love that shirt. Looks really good on you. Where could I buy one?
In my store.
Hey, yo. Guys, head over to his shop. He's got a lot of sales going on. We're going to start some Christmas sales soon, too.
And now, you know, on our new website, could I say this with the
app?
The app?
Yeah.
We're getting an app on people's phones, so you join OurThingtv, and you'll get an app on your phone. And I was looking at it today. You hit the app, and the whole thing comes up. It's so easy. It's unbelievable. It's hard to get, but I got it, and it's being approved now. And you hit that app, and everything comes up, and you see where my store is, where the stories are, different parts, and it's so easy to maneuver. It's because I've had a lot of people, and I do it. I'm confused on how to get into these websites and do certain things. This makes it 10 times easier. So
That's very true.
yeah,
Go and watch your videos, table in the back.
Right.
All the good stuff, exclusive interviews. And guys, Sammy did approve us to go ahead and put on YouTube his exclusive interviews with Michael Vecchione and we can never say his name.
Dyer.
Jay Dyer.
Dyer. I keep calling him Dwyer, but it's Dyer.
So those will be out soon.
Those will be out soon. You know, we did a lot of interviews with them, Michael Vecchione and Jay Dyer. And I think you're going to enjoy those, a lot of those too. So they'll be out on YouTube soon.
Awesome. I'm going to jump into some of these super chats. You got a lot going on over here, Sam. Everybody's in your chat going crazy. John would like to know, what is the best advice to give someone that is wanting to start a business?
You know, starting a business is your ideas and your hard work. Then to make it work, you need to put good people, smart people around you. I got Anima, I got Amina, Richie Miller, you know, a lot of guys and people that make things work, because you can't do it all. So, and it's a lot of hard work, good ideas, stay strong with your ideas. There's a lot of times I did things and people would tell me, no, don't do that. In the beginning, I was reading all of the messages and stuff like that, and I was told, you know, you can't read them all, it's getting to be too many. And I just kept doing it. I still do it. At night when I'm not doing nothing, a couple hours, I'll read a whole bunch of them. But now it's getting to the point it's really hard, so I get some help from Anna, and I get some help from Amina, mostly, and but the thing always comes back to me. You know, some things they understand the mob just as well as I know it now. So they've been with me a while. But they'll always come back. Amina will come back and tell me, Sammy, can I talk to you for a few minutes? She'll ask me 10 different questions. And I give her answers to the questions that, you know, she's reading. So she really now gets a feel for me. She knows a crazy question will come up. She knows herself. Oh, Sammy, I'll never answer that. Or something like that, or somebody wants to get nasty, or somebody, you know. So they get to know me. But a lot of them, like when she texts back messages, she's not just doing that on her own. She already asked me the question, I answered her, and she's able to type it out. I don't type it out, so she'll type it out and send it to you, but it's coming from me and her. So starting a business, it takes a lot. But you have to have the willpower, the strength, the balls to keep going. Don't make excuses. Do what you think is right. It's your ideas. Stay with it. Stick with it. I mean, my father always told me, Sam, because I'm a stubborn bastard. So he'd say, you're very argumentative, you're stubborn. And most of the times you're right. I'll give you that. He said, but when 5 or 6 or 10 people say something and you have a different side to it, think about it. It's probably you who's wrong. And I never forgot that lesson. So listen to the people around you, but it's still your business. You make the moves. You know, I remember when I first started this, and first time I said, adios, motherfuckers. Everybody fucking had a shit fit. Oh, well, you can't do that. Why? Not the whole fucking world. You can just call them the whole world motherfuckers. No, I'm not. And now, I think every Hispanic guy, there's so many people, hey, motherfucker, what are you doing? So it wasn't all that bad. It didn't work out bad. We got motherfucker on a cup and, you know, all these things. It's meant in jest. I'm not in somebody's face calling them a motherfucker. I'm not doing that to any of my fans. They know that. You know, so do what you got to do. Run your business. Try hard. And another thing I've always said, if you fail at one of the things you're doing, or the whole thing, don't worry about doing it again, going into business again. Because this time you go back with all the things you did right and all the things you did wrong. You're coming back with experience now. So feel strong about yourself. We can make mistakes. We can go under. But if you realize what your mistake was and what you did right, the second time around you say, I got this. I'm not going to do that no more. Or I'm going to do this. Or I'm going to do that. That's business. It's a series of good moves and some bad moves. Bad moves are good because you learn by them too. You learn this was horrible. I said something stupid and it was horrible. It didn't turn out good.
There you go, John. Straight from the boss himself. DeSantis, a envelope for you, Sammy, just to kick up to the boss. No comment, no question.
Thank you so much, brother.
J. Marie. Hey, J. Marie. Boss, what's the criteria for having to disappear someone or leaving them in a trunk? Or is there any special considerations taken?
No, just what happens at that particular time, where it is, what happens, determines that sometimes. You know, you don't have this, some hits are harder than others. Some are in the street. You got to leave them. Some of them happen in the club and you got a car, stolen car, you put them in the trunk, get rid of them. Whatever you got to do, they're all different. There's no real criteria to it. Each one is an individual thing. You know, you could be in a building where there's a lot of other tenants, so you want to do something a little quiet. Everything has a different way about it.
And how do they decide if someone sleeps with the fishes, goes in the water, goes over the boat, or gets the canary in their mouth, or is that just Hollywood, or did those things really happen?
Mostly Hollywood, but I know somebody who got a canary in the mouth, but that means that he was squawking, he was talking. So they're sending a message. Sleeping with the fishes, if you got somebody around you who's got a boat or this or that or the other thing, there's guys who've taken them out, 55-gallon drum. You know, you got to cut them open because they have to be, because if you don't, they'll blow up. Sounds like I'm giving murder or something. They'll blow up. Their gases in their body will blow up, and you'll be surprised they could float up. So what they do is they cut them open, they put them in a drum, put some cement in there, let it get hard, throw the whole fucking thing over waterway in the water, and it's history. The guy is gone. You know, there's no way of digging him up or doing anything like that. So most of the times those things never come back. Depends on, again, what the situation is. If you don't have a boat or one of your guys that you trust, you don't want to start implicating all kinds of people with you. So they're all different. Messages are, sometimes they want to send a message. You'll find a guy with a dick in his mouth. That means he stuck his dick in the wrong fucking place. Some maid guy's wife or somebody like that. So that's a pretty clear message.
Wow.
Of course, nobody wants to grab your dick and cut it off. But
you're like,
they
you
have
do it.
to,
No, you do it.
And they jam it in your fucking mouth or something, and they're sending a message.
What about cement shoes? Did that ever happen?
I think that's more Hollywood, but I mean, you know, Art gave me that box with those shoes. Mm-hmm. He wants me to fill it with cement, put my feet in it.
Get out of here.
I mean, I let it dry, and he's going to sell it as, whatever he does in his business. Mm-hmm. But I think it's more Hollywood, the cement shoes.
Interesting. Thank you, Sammy. Interesting stuff. Rich Rosselli, a little envelope for the boss for cigars, and maybe get the pup some jerky treats or some shit over there.
So, turkey treats?
Yeah, jerky treats for Lily.
Jerky treats. All right.
Thanks, Rich.
I tried them a couple of times. Some of the jerky treats, I liked them.
You ate the dog treats?
No, jerky.
Oh, jerky. Oh, he's saying get the pup some jerky treats.
Oh, the pup.
Yeah,
Get the pup some
For
jerky
Lily.
treats. She's got her little treats. I get her these little squares there. They got peanut butter in them or something.
Oh, yeah. She loves those.
You know,
I got
there's a
confused.
story about, dogs love peanut butter.
I think I know where this is going.
Well, let me tell you. I mean,
I'm worried.
no, I was talking to my friend, and he says, I got this new dog. So I says, great. He said, you know what's crazy? What? He said, I made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for myself. I was in my shorts watching TV. He says, I scratched myself and there was a little peanut butter on me, I guess. The dog licked my balls for 4 hours. So I said, get the fuck out of here. 4 hours? Really? Yeah. I said, I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd give you my girl for that dog.
Oh my God. Even trade. Okay. Let's see. Chris is asking, hey, Sammy, it's Chris and I'm back. What if someone hit a made man in self-defense and did not know that he was a made man?
Most of the times you can be saved from something like that, as long as you didn't know. Stymie, when Stymie originally came with me, Stymie and McIntosh was with Carmine Persico. He was an Irish guy, but a top shooter. They pulled guns on each other in an argument in Doc's bar. And that's how I met Stymie. Somebody came to me and said, Stymie pulled a gun on McIntosh in the bar. They both pulled the guns. Then they laughed it off and whatever. Now, I knew McIntosh was a tough bastard, a high-end hitter, shooter. I knew he wouldn't accept that. So I went down. I was already out of the Colombo family and the Gambino family. I was a made guy. I went to him and I said, Mac, you had a beef in Doc's bar with this kid Stymie. He said, yeah. How did you know? I said, the kid's a good kid. He's a tough kid. He didn't know who the fuck you were, bro. You know, he really didn't know. But you're going to have intentions of anything? He says, Sam, he's with you? Now he is, yeah. He says, all right, I won't do nothing. But I was going back. I said, Mac, give me your word. I trust you, bro, but I need your word. I'll trust you with your word. Tell me you're not going to kill him. He says, Sammy, I love you. You were with us originally. You hit the mattresses with us. I give you my word. I won't do anything. That's good enough for me. I went back. I told Stymie, from here on in, you were with me. You don't have to carry a gun. You don't have to worry about it. He gave me his word. You trust that? Yeah, I do. I do. McIntosh isn't a phony. He'll tell you right out now, you can't. No, I'm going to kill him. He didn't do that. And I trust him. And that's how I got Stymie with me. So even a fight, one time when I was a kid, my friend Louis Tropia, we were in the club under the O. In a fight, I was talking with a girl. There was a fight. I didn't pay it to mind. I looked, and there was 2-3 guys swinging on Louis Tropia, my friend. And I left the girl, and I ran right into it. And I grabbed the guy by his shoulder and threw a punch. As he turned around, just before my hand hit him in the face, it was Mimi, a captain in the Colombo family, and real dangerous guy. I thought I was dead. I wasn't a made guy back then. And he sent for me. I went down, and he said, did you know it was me? I said, no, absolutely not. I said, I saw 3-4 guys swinging on my friend Louis Tropia. You were all going to work on him, and I jumped in. I grabbed you by the shoulder. As my hand hit your fucking face, I realized what happened and what I did. I was terrified. I was sick. I would have never did that if I would have known it was you. And he says, all right, I accept that. He was a tough guy. He was a man's man. I accept that. He says, you hit pretty hard. He says, but next time, see if you could remember the back of me. Don't do this again. And I said, I definitely wouldn't. And he let me go. So I got into fights. I didn't kill everybody I fought. And I was made and they weren't made. You know, it depends how far you went with the fight. Like when I broke my ankle a couple of times and there was a whole thing, I went to kill the guy. I got jumped by 4 or 5 guys. But a regular fight, you know, I don't give a fuck if I win the fight or lose the fight. I want you to remember me after that fight. You could say, I beat him. You're bigger than me, you're stronger than me, you beat me up. All right. But I want you to also say, I don't ever want to fucking fight him. He just won't stop. So that to me is a win. A guy is 6 foot something, I'm 5 foot nothing, and I fight the guy and I lost. I expect to lose. What am I, Ganga Din? I can't win that fight.
What are
But
you, what?
I'm not going to back Ganga Din.
What the hell is that?
Ganga Din was a fucking guy. He was like, I'm not going to even tell you the whole story who Ganga Din is.
That's awesome, dude.
He was an Arab guy who led a whole fucking army of fucking people. Ganga Din, you know?
You know damn well there's no guy.
That's awesome, dude.
Come on, guys, whoever's out there, you ever hear of Ganga
In the
Din?
chat, Ganga
Tell
Din.
my girls this way. All right, but anyway, that's all. I mean, I didn't kill people. I fought. You know,
Yeah.
a fight is a fight. Men fight. We argue. We fight. You know, in boxing, you can fight. You just kill each other. At the end of the fight, you ever see they just walk over and hug each other?
Yeah.
Because they respect, even the guy who won, respect how hard this guy fought me, you know? So, it's a fight.
Yeah.
And if you won the fight, if you kept stomping on my face and trying to kill me or something, then if you didn't kill me, I'm gonna come back at you. But if you won the fight and you were a man about it, I wouldn't come looking for you. I really wouldn't. You know?
Wow. Yeah, guys can get in a fight and go have a beer the next hour.
Yeah,
Girls,
yeah.
30 years
Especially if
later.
it's a good fight and it's fair and everybody starts to break it up. And after a while, that was pretty good. Man, you hit me a fucking shot. You knocked the fucking wind out of me. And we're drinking. Yeah, that's real men. That's what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't take out because I got position or I am a killer. So I wouldn't do that. I would do what Mimi did. You know, that's a manly thing. I respected Mimi a lot more. I feared him a little bit, but he was a man's man to do that, to talk like that. I had a fight with both of Joe Colombo's sons, both.
Wow.
And he spoke to me and he called me down and talked to me and I told him I didn't know that they were your sons. I had a fight with them over a girl in a movie house, and then Joe Jr. and the younger one, Joseph Jr., and then his brother came back, Anthony, and I had a fight with him too. And it was just a fight. I just saw he did a video not too long ago. He said he beat me up. He's a fucking fat bastard. He can't beat me up.
Fat bastard.
He can't beat me up. I mean, but so he wants to say he beat me up, but I don't care who won.
Yeah.
But I fought the both of them, and I went to Joe Colombo and I told him I had no idea they were your sons. And he accepted that. Those are manly things. Not everybody in the Mafia is a fucking animal. You know, that's overblown, I think. There's a lot of good guys who are in the Mafia. There's a lot of bad guys you could get in trouble with. But there was a lot of good guys like that. You know, there was guys I grew up with. There was a guy in the Bonanno family, Anthony Spiro, a fucking sweetheart of a guy. You know, he'll give you the shirt off his back. He was always looking to help you when you were in trouble or this and that. So there was a lot of good guys. And, you know, Gas Pipe and a lot of bad ones too. But there was a lot of good guys in there who conducted themselves. They weren't kill crazy. Believe it or not, I know maybe this sounds hypocritical because I'm involved in 19 murders. I'm not kill crazy. I never woke up, still don't, wake up every morning, I want to kill somebody. I got guys who badmouth me and I blow it off. Years ago, I would have fucking hurt them. And today, it's fuck them. I don't even care. So, I think that's the manly thing to do. Otherwise, you're a fucking serial killer. You're gonna just kill everything that moves. So,
Yeah.
most guys in the Mafia are not like that.
Yeah. A lot of self-restraint. Diplomacy. El Gato in the chat.
What's up, my man?
He's saying Joey Zaza's last words. The salchia is wonderful. Did I say it right?
The what?
The salsia?
Satsia?
Salsiccia?
Sausage?
Something like that.
I
gotta learn Italian.
In Italian, sausage is a sausage.
Yeah. Joey Zaza.
Joey
Joey
Zaza.
Zaza. Say his name one time.
Joey Zaza.
Andy Garcia in Godfather 3.
Yeah, go get Joey Zaza. Bring him down here. I want to talk to him.
Yes, yes. Oh my God, I love you, Sammy. Bill C in the super chat. Did you ever have a Godfather moment like Hyman Roth in life when he said, "This is business. This is the business we chose. I didn't ask who pulled the trigger."
Absolutely. That is the life. When they took that in that movie, those words were more true than anything. There's no truer words. You know, we didn't ask for the life. We got the life. We lived the life. And those words were just part of the life. I didn't ask who pulled the trigger. Even now, I hear people talking about who pulled the trigger. It's not the guy who pulled the trigger if you are mad. It's the guy who gave the order. Why did he give the order? The guy who pulled the trigger is a soldier. He's told to go and he goes. You know, I have nothing against. I had told my family when I cooperated, if I ever get killed, don't hate on the people who kill me. It's the guy who gave the order. You want to hate him? You could hate him. But the guys who got it, it may be breaking their heart to come down and kill me, but they got to do that. That's the life. So.
Nice. Great question. Oh, Liam Patrick. Hey, Sammy, do you see any comparison to yourself and Tony Spilotro?
Tony Spilotro. That's a guy in Chicago.
Casino. Yeah, remember he went to Casino? Joe Pesci played him in Casino?
Yeah. No, I don't see myself as him at all. I know one thing. If I would have ever been him and had control in Vegas when it was opening in the beginning, I would have been a king. I would have never bullied people, did any of those things. You didn't have to. I mean, it was unnecessary. And then he was doing petty crimes. They were robbing, house burglaries, all kinds of things. It wasn't necessary. There's tons of money to be made there the right way. And I like the part when he said to the banker guy says, "I lost your money." And he said, "Let me tell you something." He said, "I'm going to come to the bank tomorrow and I want my money back. And if it's not there, I'm going to take a gun out and I'm going to crack your fucking head wide open. I'm going to show you how stupid I am. I'm going to go to jail. I don't care, because I'm stupid. You're like an honest crook. When I come out, maybe you'll come out of the coma, and I'm going to come there again and crack your fucking head wide open again." I loved when he did that part. Now that's me. I could talk like that to a guy who's robbing you or fucking with you and whatever, and thinking you're a fucking tough guy. You got the bank. That's me. That part is me, I think.
I felt like I was watching the movie right now.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'll get stupid in here. I will."
Right. Yeah.
That was awesome. Let's see. Robert Ranzano Jr. If John Gotti supposedly brought down the mob and was bad for the mob, why did the commission approve Pete Gotti to take over the family? Did we ask that one earlier? Sounded familiar.
Yeah.
That's a new super chat for today. Well, rewind the tape, everybody. Brian Byer, thanks for sharing your story, Sammy. The good and the bad, but mostly thank you for your honesty.
A man has a lot of good traits and a lot of bad traits. One of the good traits I think I've always held is my honesty. And I keep my honesty because I don't care whether I was the bad guy, the good guy, or whatever it was. I want to tell the truth. The worst thing in the world is to deal with somebody who's a fucking liar. Even now in business, I deal with people. I was just talking to Anna dealing with some big people. I think I caught them in a lie. And it's important, this position for me. But yet, I might even walk. Because even if I straighten it out, I could never trust you again. Trust is every fucking thing in life. Between a husband and a wife, between partners, between friendships. Trust is everything. Once you could trust a person and relax with that person, you can love that person. If you don't trust them, you can never love them. You never know what they're saying is the truth or a lie. I like to love women, men, kids, whoever I'm dealing with, fans. I love honesty. So I give honesty. I'm not the type of person who wants to lie to everybody and then wants them to love me. It don't work like that. If you're lying, you don't tell the truth, they're not going to love you. And you're not loving on them. If they're here, they're your fans, they're here, they want to hear you fuck up. They want to hear you tell a joke. They want to hear you what you are. If they don't like it, they'll change the channel. If they like it, I see a lot of things on YouTube. I'm dumbfounded at some of the things I hear. You know, when I help a guy on YouTube to come in, like Anthony, my first words out of my mouth is these people are not stupid. They know about the mob, they're mob buffs. Some of them have been through things in their own lives. They'll know when you're fucking lying, bro. Tell the truth. Or don't say it at all. And then another thing is, I have a good memory for things that happened years ago that scarred my life a little bit. But I can't remember a fucking lie if my life depended on it. To tell a story, 6 years later you're telling the same fucking story. You think I'm going to remember what I talked about 6 years ago? I don't even know if I ate breakfast this morning. If I did, what did I eat? I don't know. So I don't lie for that reason. Because usually you get caught up in these lies. You know, and then people see it. How could they respect you? How could they like you?
Yeah.
So,
Nicely put.
truthfulness and honesty is extremely important in every single walk of life.
Well said, Sammy. Dave Van Eaton, how did your relationship with gas pipe change after Paul bit the dust?
Well, I grew up with gas pipe in the same neighborhood, Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. He used to go to a club, the 19th Hole, on 86th Street, and I knew him. I wasn't really close with him, but I knew him. After Paul was dead, he excelled, him and Vic Arena. Vic Arena became the boss. He became the underboss. John became the boss. I became the underboss. I was forced to deal with him a lot. More so because they hated John Gotti. And in this day and age, it's obvious. They did a lot of things. And John Gotti hated them. John Gotti couldn't get anything done. They didn't want to do any favors or anything for him. And he would always say, get your fucking friend, gas pipe, and straighten this thing out. A quick example again. There was a fence on some neighbor's property, legitimate people. John Gotti knew one of the people, and gas pipe knew the other one. They argued about a fence, fighting tooth and nail over this fence. So John Gotti says, go see gas pipe, straighten this thing out. When I went to straighten it out, try to make some sort of a deal to make these people make peace, gas pipe didn't want to do it. I said, bro, you got to do it. Look at what the fuck level this thing is on now. Somebody's fence. Two underbosses, two families are talking about this fucking fence. Because they know John Gotti and these guys know you. Let's make a deal, me and you, to resolve this. Let's find out where the property line is. We have construction people. Rip this fucking fence down because it's on somebody's property. Put it in the middle. We pay for it, and it's done. We tell both of them, chill with your neighbor. If you don't like your neighbor, move. But the fence is going to stay here. You just can't call nobody no more. Sammy, why should we do it? Listen, it'll cost what, $2,000-$3,000? I'll go out of my pocket, $1,500 a piece. We do it. We get our contractors to go in, do it, end it. There's a lot of things for us to talk about, a lot of things to argue about. But to take a fucking stupid stand over a fucking fence because you don't like him. Grow up. Only because of you. All right, good. Only because of me. And only because of you. Well, I'm taking it out of my pocket. I'm not even telling the Bugatti to pay for it. And we did that. So my relationship grew with him. He used me. They wanted to use me more than they wanted to talk to him. And vice versa. So I wound up with more of a relationship with them, more meetings with them. John couldn't have meetings with them.
Wow. Thank you, Sammy. Otis50 would like to know, what's the most cash you ever had on hand back in the day? Also, what's the most cash you've ever seen?
Well, I had maybe $4 million cash on hand, put into safe places. Always had a couple $100,000 in my house laying around in case of an emergency, but $3-4 million. The most cash I ever saw, I once went to Paul Castellano's house. And Paul Castellano said, Tommy Bellotti is downstairs in the basement. Go help him. I said, okay. I went down the basement, and there was a big, long fucking table, huge, 10, 12, 14 feet long, big one. And there were suitcases. So I told Tommy was there, and I said, Paul told me to help you. Do what? He said, grab that suitcase, put it up on the table. I grabbed the suitcase, it was heavy. I put it on the table. He said, open it up. I opened it up, and there were stacks of money with rubber bands around them and everything. And taking the rubber bands off, put the hundreds with the hundreds, the 50s with the 50s, the 20s and the 10s, and so on and so forth, in stacks. There was 3, 4, 5 of these suitcases. I never saw so much money in my life. I said to Tommy Bellotti, what do we have to do? We have to count this? He said, no. We just got to stack it, and then we'll rubber band the different denominations together. I said, how much fucking money is this? He said, Sammy, I don't even have roughly, I 10, 12, 15 million. I have no idea. Where the fuck did this go? What, did he rob a bank? Where did this money come from? Chin, he was doing deals with Chin and other families, and they sent suitcases, Fat Vinny DiNapoli, I sent suitcases full of money. And he had them on the side, and now he wants to get rid of it, and he wants us to put it together. So that's the most amount of money. I don't even know how much it was. Could have been 10, could have been 15. I never seen so much money in my life. And it was a job, picking it up. I was all sweaty, picking it up, open them up, take the rubber bands, count them, not count it, but just put the stacks. And then I said, of course, we'll be here a month if we're going to have to count this. No, he says, no, you don't have to, we don't have to count it. So that was the most amount of money I ever saw in my life.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Reminds me of that movie Blow, where they're like hiding it in the walls.
Right.
They can't even, they need another room.
You got to remember, when Castellano got pinched, I think on his first case, there was a news article that came out. He owned a chicken company. I'm trying to think of the name of the chicken company, but it was in the paper. That chicken company was grossing $52 million a year. I was there when he sat down with Purdue, the owner of Purdue, Mr. Purdue. And he blasted the shit out of him. Purdue asked him, he had union problems. And Paul looked at him, stared at him. I was with Tommy at a different table, stared at him and said, did you just call me a fucking gangster? And Purdue said, no, I got union problems. I need your help. And he said, a couple of years ago, I went to you. I wanted you to buy my chickens. And you wouldn't deal with me because I'm a gangster. Now you want to come to me when you have fucking problems? You can go and fuck yourself. Now, when I cooperated, the government knew I was at that meeting, and they said to me, Sammy, you were at the meeting where Paul was trying to shake down Purdue. So I said, no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. I was there, you're right. He abused him. And that's what he had said. He wasn't going to help him. You know, I was no good, you know, because I was a gangster. Now I'm still the same gangster. Now you need me. Go fuck yourself. And the government was a little shocked. But that's what happened. So Paul had a lot of money, bro. A lot of money. Yeah. I mean, the house he was in, I just read an article just recently that they sold it. Somebody bought it, younger person, fixed it up a little bit. And it's just for sale again for $17 million.
Jeez.
Now. So, I mean, he had millions around him all over the place. A lot of money. Mm-hmm. Very, very smart man.
Wow.
I used to go over his house. He would be on the outside patio. And I go in there, Wall Street Journal. He's reading all them fancy business newspapers and shit like that. You know, he's not the Daily News, all the murders and things. He's not reading that crap.
Yeah.
So, he was a smart man.
Reminds me of the opening scene in Godfather at the wedding when he's like, I just want you to be my friend.
Right.
Help my daughter, help me.
Right.
Well, we're a little over time, so let me just get a couple more in here. Tim Silva wants to wish you a happy holidays, Sammy, with his weekly envelope.
Same to you, brother.
Larry Fishkind, a few different super chats for you. No strings attached, just showing love.
Thank you.
Let's see. Elgato, you'll be our last super chat. Anything we didn't get to today, we'll get to next week. Elgato is asking, what slang word did you use in New York for drugs? In Miami, they called it yayo.
Sometimes we used yayo, or sometimes we used smack, or what else did we call it? I think we called it by the names. I don't remember any real nicknames, but yayo, smack.
Yeah. And those were in the big well, obviously in the 70s and 80s, it was big in the clubs, right, in New York. I remember Anthony Reggiano talking about it.
Oh, cocaine and stuff like that was off the charts. They couldn't get enough cocaine. You know, if I had heard a story from this Patsy Conte, who was a major drug dealer from Italy, that sometimes they went from Italy to France. Mm-hmm. It was easy to get into Canada or to the country. Heroin would come in. Now, Patsy Conte, I heard him telling John, they had their tongue hanging out because they couldn't get coke. They had all the heroin you want in Italy, they grew, but they couldn't get the coke. And they wanted the coke. So coke was like a big item for them. They had a lot of kids who wanted to snort coke, and it was a big thing there. Colombia was one of the major places for cocaine. What the hell was his name again?
Pablo Escobar.
Escobar was the king. I mean, he had all them villages up in the mountains that were growing poppy seeds and all that stuff. Or is that how they made the coke?
The leaves, the cocoa leaves.
Cocoa leaves, or whatever it was.
Whatever, yeah.
I mean, he was like the king of it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever get into Narcos, Sammy, the show on Netflix, Narcos, about Pablo Escobar?
No. And my son told me to watch it. I didn't watch it. Did it have titles?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't watch things with titles. When I read slow. Mm-hmm. So the thing is fast, and
yeah, they talk fast, yeah.
Yeah, they talk fast, and the title comes pretty quick, and I missed it.
Yeah.
So I don't, anything with titles, I'm dead.
Yeah. All right, Sammy, you ready to wrap it up for this Monday?
I'm ready to wrap it up.
Let's go.
All right. So, way to wrap it up. They go like this to me, wrap it up. Adios, motherfuckers.